friends, welcome back. So today I wanted to do a review of the Create Original frames. I've been skating the Create Originals on the FR Skates, and I've been also riding the Dead Roadhouse wheels and anti-rocker wheels. So I've been riding the Marco Moreno Pro frames, and what's special about this frame is that they come with sticker packs, and then you can customize the inside and outside of each frame on each skate. These frames also came with the plastic shields. The plastic shields basically slide into grooves here, and there's nothing that really anchors them down. So when you skate, you do hear that they rattle. The axles have dual Allen key heads on both sides. So that does mean you need two Allen keys in order to tighten and loosen the bolts. As far as the H block goes, the H block is about 50.5 millimeters wide at the center. The axles are spaced about 114 millimeters apart between wheels 2 and 3. Walls are about 9 millimeters thickness, and then the height of the frame is about 43.5 millimeters to accommodate 60 millimeter wheels. So I found that the H block is wider than like a 50-50 balance 2 frame. The frames are about the same height as the 50-50 balance 2s, and then the axles are spaced a little further apart. And what that additional H block spacing does is it offers like a little bit of wheel protection. I found though that the wheel protection when you're trying to skate ledges, because of how wide this H block is that I was rubbing on the H block, on the edge of the H block, kind of at the shallowest part, and it took me wearing them down a little just to feel like I was a little more balanced on the ledge, because otherwise it was kind of wanting to push me off. So I typically skate these with an anti-rocker setup because they are wider. I do believe some people try and ride these flat. I personally don't enjoy riding flat. I get too much wheel bite and then I have a bad time, so it's just not for me. One thing I loved about these frames is they have this really steep groove on the inside and outside, and that just makes it perfect for locking in when you're on coping or rails. The plastic on these is super hard, and because the plastic is so hard, it's taken me about 3 months of riding at the local park, and that's coping, rails, ledges with angle iron, and then some marble ledges, just to be able to break these in. And I still feel they can use some breaking in, so I almost wonder if they didn't make the frames too hard. The frames are definitely thick. I don't see any advantage of having frames this thick unless it's to try and keep them from breaking, but I don't think there's any way that I could wear through these frames in a lifetime if I'm skating at a skate park. I did find that these frames feel like they ride slower than like a 50-50 balance 2s, and I think part of that is just because it has some more frame contact. But I also felt like they were a little slower than the them frames as well. So I did have to use a little more wax when I'm skating like copings and ledges, just to get past that friction piece. What else? Basically, I think these are a super solid frame. They ride great on everything that I skate. Super wide H block, perfect for rails. It's honestly probably one of the best frames I've ever ridden. The rattling of the shield, take it or leave it. It's not I guess the sound reminds me of the Fisher Price skates with the little hard plastic wheels that like toddlers learn to use, and that's kind of what it sounds like. Which brings me up to my next point. Like, I feel like this frame could honestly use just like a smidge of updating, and I feel like they could use a shaped axle so you only need one Allen key. They could incorporate some sort of washer that adds just a pinch of pressure onto the plastic to keep it from rattling, or even just put something in there just to firm up the plastic so it doesn't move around as much, or just get rid of them altogether, right? and then use the axles to hold the aesthetic shields in place to make the shields out of a more robust material, or not the shields, but the inserts out of a more robust material. Other than that, I feel like these frames are great. I don't feel like that they're too tall. I feel like 60 millimeter wheels for me, while they give me a lot of speed, I do feel like they are a little too tall. And I find myself, like, as I'm leaning back on ledges, I start hitting the back wheel, just because I like to be like really on top of long ledges just to ride them. I don't know what else to say about these, other than they're just a super highly recommended frame. Rumor has it Create Original is going to be releasing the updated version of the suspension frames in the next couple months, so I may actually try and pick a pair of those up just to see what they're all about. Never had a chance to ride them when they came out before. Other than that, highly recommended. Thick plastics, big H block. I mean, it kind of hits all the check boxes for a high quality frame. I do like these better than them, because I felt like the them H block was too wide but very shallow, so I kept like falling out of certain tricks, and I never have that issue with these. The biggest thing that I ran into with these is just riding them frequently enough to break in the frame and get some grooves in there, so I can just really sit on my tricks. Other than that, these frames skate really well with this boot, and the wheels, it really is a really good setup. Pretty good shock absorption and really robust. So overall, I like these frames, and I would highly recommend them to anybody looking. Thanks all for checking it in, and I hope you all have a good week.